Hey guys, what is up? My name is Lannon and welcome to the Jersey Zone. So today I'm going to be doing a jersey history tier list on the Carolina Hurricanes. Now this is a series, so if you guys haven't seen any of the other videos, I'll link to a playlist in the description down below so you guys can check it out. And of course I will be including the Hartford Whalers. As you guys probably saw from the title and or thumbnail, I probably put it in one of those. If I didn't, saying it now, so I will be including the Hartford Whalers. Anyways, let's just get right into the tier list. Okay, so now we're into the tier list here. So let's start off with the inaugural season jerseys for the Hartford Whalers. They wore these from 1979 all the way up until 1985. Let's start off with the home jerseys. And as much as I do like these jerseys, I definitely much prefer the away. For some reason, I'm just really not feeling the white on these jerseys. And for me, the W being a different color than the tail itself, I'm not really a huge fan of that. For some reason, it just kind of feels off to me. So I do much prefer the away version, but I do still really like this jersey. I am going to put it into, I'll throw it into A tier. It is going to be a little bit lower down on that A tier though. And then for the away versions, the 1979 to 1985 aways, I am going to put it into S tier. I really like the green on this jersey. I think it makes it look really nice. The striping makes it look a little bit better in the white and the blue. And of course, Pucky is on the shoulders of both of these jerseys, and I absolutely love Pucky. He is like my favorite shoulder logo. I absolutely love him. So that is part of the reason why these jerseys are up so high, is because I absolutely love that shoulder logo. And just a neat little fact with the uniform for these jerseys, in the 1982 to 1983 season, they actually wore the Cooperalls with these jerseys. Now, if you guys don't know what the Cooperalls are, they're basically just longer pants instead of the shorter pants that we wear. So with these long pants, they were supposed to make the players a little bit faster, but what ended up happening is they just slid around the ice whenever they fell, and they just slid for like forever, apparently. I never saw them personally. I'm way too young for that, but that's apparently what happened with them. So the NHL ended up banning them after that one season. They were mostly known for the Philadelphia Flyers, at least, or at least that's how I kind of know them. I actually didn't really know that the Hartford Whalers wore them, but there you guys go. Neat little fact. The Hartford Whalers wore the Cooperalls, if you guys didn't know. And before we get into the other jerseys as well, they actually did take Pucky off the shoulders in 1985, which is very sad, unfortunately. And then from 1989 to 1992, they kind of went back and forth with how they wanted their jersey. They basically kept changing the sleeve stripes. They went from the diagonal sleeve stripes, which were on the original jerseys, to straight sleeve stripes, and then they went back to the diagonal for a year. And then in the 1991 to 1992 season, they went back to the straight stripes, but just made it a little bit closer to the cuffs. It was a whole thing that I'm shocked that they kept doing it. I don't know why they kind of fiddled around with it for 4 years, but they ended up doing that. I didn't include those jerseys on the tier list here though, because they're all very similar, so I didn't really feel like I needed to, and I also didn't want to include any jersey without Pucky on the shoulder unless it was a big change, because I much prefer Pucky. But anyways, now on to the next jerseys finally. Now on to the 1992 to 1997 home jerseys, and with these jerseys here, I don't quite like them as much as their original jerseys. I don't really like the gray as much. I feel like it's a little bit more bland. I like the green a lot more. Although I still don't mind these jerseys, I just much prefer the green, even though there is still some green in these jerseys. It's just not really as much. And of course, it is missing Pucky as well, so I'm going to throw this one into the B tier. Although it is going to be a high B, it is kind of close to the A tier, but it's not quite an A tier. And for the away jersey now, I do like the dark blue a little bit more than the white here. But the only thing that's kind of holding me back with this jersey is the tail being dark blue as well. I'm not quite a huge fan of that. Even though there is the gray behind it, separating it from the other blue, it still kind of blends in a little bit too much for my taste. I'm still not really a huge fan of it. So it is going to sit right behind the home jersey, although it's pretty close. It's not really much of a difference. And of course, in 1997, the Hartford Whalers ended up moving to Carolina and becoming the Carolina Hurricanes. So we do now have the 1997 to 2007 home jerseys for the Carolina Hurricanes. And I do actually not mind this logo. I know some people maybe aren't really a huge fan of it just because of going from the Hartford logo, which is such a iconic and classic logo, to the Hurricanes logo. I know some people aren't really a huge fan of it, but I still like this logo a lot. I still think it looks pretty nice. And I also do really like the pattern at the bottom of the jersey as well. I really like that touch on their jerseys. And the shoulder logo as well, being this logo right here, I like it a lot as well. So I'm going to throw this one into, I think I'm going to throw it right in front of these Hartford jerseys, actually. I think that's where I'm going to put it. With the away jersey now, I'm not really as huge of a fan of it. I much prefer the white for this jersey here. So with this one, I am going to throw just a little bit behind the Hartford Whalers jerseys. So they're kind of just going to sandwich those ones there. And with these two jerseys here, they did add just a black outline to the names in 2000, just to make it a little bit clearer with the names. Now, I didn't include the 2007 to 2013 jerseys, mostly just because of the fact that they were so similar to these jerseys right here. The only difference is they just moved from the CCM to a Reebok Edge style, which is just basically just a different style of jersey. And then they also added just a piping around the shoulder yoke. So it wasn't really a huge change. The only real change of the jersey itself was just the shoulder yoke there. That was the only thing that they changed. So I really didn't feel like I needed to add the Reebok Edge jerseys because they were so similar to the inaugural season Carolina Hurricanes jerseys. Like I said, I just didn't feel like I needed to include them. But with that being said, we do have the 2008 to 2017 third jerseys. And as you can see, I'm wearing that jersey right now. I absolutely love it. I think this jersey is fantastic. I really like the shoulder logos, how they're just grayed out, basically. They're just a grayscale. I think that's really nice. I like the gray at the bottom, and just the little touches of red kind of really brings out the jersey itself. I really like this jersey a lot. And so for me, I'm going to throw it at the top of the A tier. I think it's an absolutely fantastic jersey. Doesn't quite reach to that S tier though, but it is really nice. I love it. Now we're on to the 2013 to 2017 home jerseys. And for me, these are a massive downgrade compared to their previous home and away jerseys. I just definitely do not like them as much. They removed the little pattern at the bottom that I really like. I think that's a neat touch for Carolina, and they removed that, and they just made these look really plain in my opinion. So for me, I'm going to put the home jersey into C tier, and it's a pretty low C tier in my opinion. Now with the away version, I do like it a little bit more than the home jersey, but not by a ton. I think the shoulder yokes does help it a little bit, as well as the black stripes around the big red stripes. I do think that also helps it a little bit, but I'm still just really not a huge fan of this jersey, so it is going to go into the C tier as well. But these are pretty close to D in my opinion. And then for the 2017 to present home jerseys, when Adidas took over, they brought back the hurricane warning flag symbols that are at the bottom there, at the pattern at the bottom that I like, whatever you want to call it or however you want to say it. They brought those back, so I was really happy that they did that. But for these ones here, I don't quite like them as much as their original jerseys. I do think the original ones are a little bit better. I like the striping a little bit more on the original jerseys, as well as the collar itself. I'm not really a huge fan of that Adidas collar, so I'm going to put those ones into the B tier at the lower end of it. And then for their 2017 to 2019 away jerseys, for some reason they just left their away jerseys completely the same. I'm a little bit confused on why they did that. Maybe it's because they knew that they didn't want to go that direction anymore, and they were thinking about changing it, but just not really sure what to do. Either way, they stayed the same, so I'm going to put these ones just below the C tier here, just below the older ones, because I do like the Reebok collar more. And then in 2018, they did something a little bit controversial. They brought back the Hartford Whalers jersey as a heritage jersey, and they are still wearing it today, or at least it is still listed as a present jersey. But either way, I do like this jersey, but there is one thing wrong with it. Missing Pucky. So for that, I cannot put it into the S tier, so it has to go into the A tier, and I'm going to put it behind the third jersey. I do like the third jersey just a little bit more because it's missing Pucky. I want Pucky back. It is on the Fanatics jersey for some reason. They put Pucky back on the Fanatics, but they didn't do it on the Adidas. I don't know why. It's a little strange, but they did that for some reason. Either way, there you guys go. And also in 2018, they made a new third jersey that is a little bit more accurate to what an actual hurricane warning flag looks like. The double flag is apparently what the actual hurricane warning flags look like. The singular one that is on the previous third jersey, I think that's just a tropical storm, I'm pretty sure. But either way, they just made it a little bit more accurate, so that's nice. As well as the pattern on the arms itself, and at the bottom of the jersey, there is a little bit of a pattern in those stripes there. I really like that pattern. You guys can't really see it here, but if you guys haven't seen that third jersey, look it up and you can see there's just a little bit of a pattern in those stripes, and I really like that as well. And then it has the shoulder yoke as well. I think it looks really nice in gray, especially when it's outlined by that red. I think that's a nice little touch as well. I'm glad that they did that. I think it separates it just a little bit better and it makes it look a little bit nicer. And it has the grayscale shoulder patches, which I think looks nice. But one of the shoulder patches is the North Carolina state flag, but I'm not really a huge fan of when teams use state flags. For some reason, I just really don't like that. I'm not really too sure why it bugs me. I was really glad when Calgary took off the Alberta and Canada flags on the shoulders. I wasn't a huge fan of that, and I'm not as much of a fan of it here. I still don't mind it as much, but it is maybe my only gripe with the jersey is that state flag. Not a huge fan of it, but either way, I still absolutely love this jersey, so I'm going to throw it into the S tier. I think it looks really nice. And then in 2019, the Carolina Hurricanes released a new away jersey, and when this jersey first released, I was not a huge fan of it at all. I was really disappointed. If you guys know me, you know I hate word marks. I'm not a huge fan of them at all, but this one has sort of grown on me a little bit. Of course, it does have that pattern at the bottom that I like, and as well as it does have the kind of hurricane warning flags in the C as well. I think that's a nice little touch. I think it looks really nice, but for me, I'm still just not really a huge fan of word marks, so I am going to put it, I'm not quite sure where I want to put it actually, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm thinking I want to put it on the upper side of the B tier, but I feel like I don't really want to put it behind those Hartford jerseys, but at the same time, I don't want to put it behind those Hartford jerseys. I'm really not too sure where I want to put it. I think for now, I'm going to put it right behind the original Hurricanes jersey. I'm going to put it right there. And finally, we're on to the reverse retro that they did of the Hartford Whalers. And I do like these jerseys. They brought Pucky back, which I really, really like. So that is a big positive for me. But I'm just not quite sure how I feel about that gray is the thing. I'm not sure which way I kind of go on it, if I like it or if I don't. It really kind of depends on the day, I think. I do think it looks a little bit nicer on ice than it does in these pictures here, but I do think I am leaning towards I like it a lot more than I don't. So right now I'm basically deciding if I want to put it into the S tier or not. I feel like I shouldn't with how much I'm not sure how much I like the gray and how much that is the main color of the jersey itself, but I like literally everything else about the jersey is the issue. So I think I am going to put it into the S tier, and I'm just going to leave it at the bottom of the S tier. It's quite close to A, but I still really like it a lot. So I do think on most days I do like that gray, and like I said, I do think it looks a little bit better on ice than it does in the pictures. So with that being said, I probably like it a lot more in person than I do in the pictures, so I probably will lean it towards more S tier than A. But there you guys go. There's my tier list. It's pretty even. I mean, most of them have just 3 jerseys except for this one. Actually, you know what? There you go. No, not actually. I'm going to put these back. But yeah, it is pretty even. I do tend to like these jerseys a lot, especially the Hartford Whalers jerseys. I think those are absolutely fantastic. But I still do like the Carolina Hurricanes jerseys. I do still think they look nice. But there's my tier list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you agree with me or do you not? Also, if you like this video, make sure to leave a like and make sure to subscribe for more jersey content. Also, make sure to follow me on my Instagram and my Twitter at the Jersey Zone YT on Instagram and at the Jersey Zone on Twitter. Links are in the description down below. But like I said, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.